The candles on Dad's birthday cake flickered like tiny spotlights, illuminating the smirks around the dining room table. 65 candles meant a lot of light, but somehow I still felt invisible as my brother Connor held court, describing his latest ventures in commercial real estate. The Riverside development alone will net us $2 million, he boasted, loosening his designer tie. That's what real business looks like. Concrete, steel, things that matter. That's my boy, Dad beamed, raising his scotch. Building something tangible, something real. I pushed the remnants of my cake around my plate, the buttercream frosting I'd spent hours perfecting now tasting like chalk. Beside me, my sister-in-law Monica nodded enthusiastically. It's so impressive, Connor. A real legacy. Speaking of hobbies, Connor suddenly turned to me, his eyes glinting with that particular brand of sibling malice he perfected over 34 years. How's your little project going, Emma? Still tinkering in the garage? The table's attention shifted to me like a spotlight finding its mark. I set down my fork carefully. It's going well, actually. I just completed the prototype for. She's building some kind of gadget, Connor interrupted, waving dismissively at the family. Spends all her time with wires and circuits, like a kid with a chemistry set. Dad chuckled. Emma's always been the dreamer of the family. Remember when she tried to build that robot in high school? The one that caught fire? My younger brother added, grinning. Classic Emma. It didn't catch fire, I corrected quietly. The servo motor overheated because the school's equipment was outdated. Sure, Connor smirked. Well, at least this hobby keeps you busy. Though at 29, you might want to think about real career plans. Maybe I could get you an internship at my firm? You could do our filing. I have a career, I said. I'm an engineer. Right, working from home on your cute hobby stuff. He turned to the rest of the table. She solders things in our old garage. Very professional. Monica giggled. It's sweet that you have such an interesting pastime, Emma. My book club is the same for me. We all need our little escapes. Leave the real business to the men, Connor announced, draining his wine. No offense, Em, but hardware development is brutal. The big players would eat you alive. Apple, Samsung, these aren't knitting circles. None taken, I murmured, though my fingernails were digging crescents into my palms under the table. Aunt Patricia, ever helpful, chimed in. Well, I think it's wonderful that Emma has something to keep her mind active. Not everyone needs to be a CEO. The world needs all types. Exactly, Dad agreed. Emma's always been our creative one. Let Connor handle the business side of things. I excused myself to get more water, though my glass was still half full. In the kitchen, I gripped the sink edge and breathed slowly. 3 years. 3 years of 18-hour days, failed prototypes, small victories, and large setbacks. All reduced to cute hobby stuff by people who couldn't explain how their own smartphones worked. My phone buzzed. An email from my patent attorney. Final approval came through. Meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. to discuss next steps. Big news, come prepared to celebrate. I stared at the screen, then slipped the phone back into my pocket. Tomorrow. I could wait until tomorrow. Returning to the dining room, I found Connor regaling everyone with stories about his latest acquisition. And that's the difference between playing with toys and building an empire. He concluded, shooting me a pointed look. Impressive, I said, retaking my seat. Sounds like you have everything figured out. It's about vision, he replied, missing my tone entirely. And knowing your limitations. Some people are meant to lead, others to follow. No shame in that. None at all, I agreed. The rest of the evening passed in a blur of Connor's achievements, Dad's praise, and occasional patronizing comments thrown my way. When someone asked about my gadget, Connor jumped in to explain it was something with sensors or whatever, too complicated to explain to normal people. I drove home at 10 p.m., my ancient Honda Civic struggling up the hill to my rental house. The garage door opened to reveal my real-life workbenches covered in meticulously organized components, walls lined with whiteboards full of equations, and in the center, covered by a protective cloth, the prototype that had consumed 3 years of my existence. I pulled off the cloth and looked at it, small, unassuming, about the size of a smartphone but thicker. To Connor, it would look like a cute black box with ports and sensors. To me, it represented 1,000 147 days of problem solving, 12 patent applications, and a breakthrough in haptic feedback technology that my attorney called revolutionary. But that was tomorrow's story. I worked until 3 a.m., not on the prototype that was complete, but on my presentation materials. If everything went according to plan, I'd need them soon. Very soon. The next morning arrived gray and drizzling. I dressed carefully, not in the jeans and t-shirt my family expected, but in the single designer suit I'd bought with my last consulting check. If you're going to change your life, you might as well look the part. The law offices of Steinberg and Associates occupied the top floor of a downtown high-rise, all glass and chrome, and quiet power. I'd been here dozens of times over the past year, but today felt different. Today felt final. Emma, Richard Steinberg himself greeted me, which was unusual. He typically left client meetings to his associates. Come in, we have visitors. The conference room held 3 people I didn't recognize, 2 men and a woman, all in the kind of understated, expensive clothes that whispered rather than shouted success. Emma Hayes, Richard said, meet the team from Apple's Special Projects Division. My heart stopped, then resumed at double speed. I shook hands, proud that mine remained steady. Ms. Hayes, the woman, clearly the leader, said, I'm Sarah Chen, VP of Emerging Technologies. We've been following your patent applications with great interest. All 12 of them, one of the men added. Particularly the haptic feedback innovations. Your approach to neural response mapping is unexpected. Unexpected good or unexpected bad? I asked. Sarah smiled. Unexpected in the way that makes our entire R&D department wish they'd thought of it first. Richard gestured for everyone to sit. Emma, they flew in from Cupertino specifically to meet you. They have a proposal. We've tested your prototype, Sarah said, sliding a folder across the table. Or rather, we've tested the prototype you submitted to the patent office. We assume the current version is more advanced. I nodded, trying to process how Apple had gotten access to my submission. Then again, Apple. The applications are significant, she continued. Accessibility for visually impaired users, enhanced gaming experiences, medical diagnostics. Your technology could revolutionize how humans interact with devices. That was the idea, I managed. We'd like to acquire your patents, Sarah said simply. All of them. And we'd like to hire you to lead the integration team. One of the men opened his laptop. Our initial offer is $12 million for the patent portfolio, plus a senior engineering position with a starting salary of $400,000, standard benefits and performance bonuses. The room went silent. I stared at the number on the screen, wondering if I'd hallucinated it. $12 million, plus a job that paid more than Connor made in his best year. That's the initial offer? I asked. Sarah leaned forward. We're prepared to negotiate. Your technology is 3 years ahead of anything we have in development. Frankly, it's 3 years ahead of anything anyone has. We want it, and we want you. I need to think, I said, though my mind was already racing through possibilities. Of course, but Emma? Sarah's expression was serious. Other companies are interested. Samsung has been sniffing around the patent office. Google has made inquiries. We prefer to close this quickly and quietly. How quickly? 48 hours. We'll need your answer by Thursday. After they left, I sat with Richard in his office, both of us slightly stunned. $12 million, he said, plus the job. Emma, do you understand what this means? It means my cute hobby stuff is worth more than Connor's entire real estate portfolio. Richard laughed. Is that the brother you told me about? The one who said hardware was too brutal for you? The very same. Well, I'd say you've survived the brutality quite well. I left the meeting in a daze. $12 million. A position at Apple. Validation that 3 years of being dismissed and diminished had been worth it. But I had 48 hours to decide, and somehow I knew exactly where I needed to spend them. That evening I called Mom. I need to stay at the house tomorrow night, just one night. Of course, honey. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. I just need to use the garage for something. Still working on your project. Connor mentioned you're quite dedicated to it. Something like that. I spent Tuesday refining my prototype, implementing the last few improvements I'd been planning. If Apple wanted my technology, they'd get the absolute best version I could deliver. I worked through the night again, fueled by coffee and the knowledge that in 24 hours, everything would change. Wednesday morning came too quickly. I managed 3 hours of sleep on the couch in my childhood home, surrounded by the same tools Connor had mocked us days before. I showered, dressed in jeans and my old MIT sweatshirt, and loaded my prototype carefully into a padded case. At 8:47 a.m., the doorbell rang. I opened it to find a man in an expensive suit holding a leather portfolio. "Ms. Hayes, I'm James Morrison from Steinberg and Associates. Mr. Steinberg asked me to deliver these documents personally. He wasn't one of Richard's usual associates. This was theater, and I appreciated Richard's flair for drama." "Please come in," I said loudly. "Would you like some coffee?" "That would be wonderful," James replied, following the script we'd rehearsed over the phone. I led him to the kitchen, where Mom was already making breakfast. "Mom, this is Mr. Morrison. He's here about my project." "Oh, how nice," Mom said, clearly confused but polite. "Would you like some eggs, Mr. Morrison?" "Thank you, but I can't stay long." He opened his portfolio with practiced efficiency. "Miss Hayes, I need you to review these final documents." Connor appeared in the doorway, still in his pajamas. "Emma? What's going on? Who's this?" "This is Mr. Morrison," I said casually. "He's here about my hobby." Connor snorted. "Must be a slow day at the office if lawyers are making house calls for garage projects." James looked up, his expression professionally neutral. "I apologize, but I need Ms. Hayes to focus. This is time sensitive." "Time sensitive?" Connor laughed. "What, did she miss a deadline for the science fair?" "Connor," Mom chided gently, "I'm representing Apple Incorporated in their acquisition of Ms. Hayes' patent portfolio," James said calmly, pulling out documents. "The offer has increased to $12 million as of this morning, and we need a decision." The kitchen went completely silent. Connor's coffee mug stopped halfway to his lips. Mom dropped her spatula. "I'm sorry," Connor said slowly. "Did you say Apple?" "As in Apple?" "Yes. They're quite interested in Ms. Hayes' haptic feedback technology. Revolutionary was the word they used, I believe." I signed where James indicated, trying not to smile at Connor's expression, a beautiful mixture of shock, disbelief, and dawning horror. "12 million, Mom whispered. "Emma, is this real?" "Plus the job offer," James added helpfully. "Senior position, 6-figure salary, full benefits. They're eager to have Ms. Hayes lead the integration team." Connor set his mug down with shaking hands. There must be. Emma doesn't know anything about business. She could be getting scammed." "I assure you, this is quite legitimate," James said. "Steinberg and Associates has been handling Ms. Hayes' patents for over a year. 12 patents, all approved, all groundbreaking. Your sister is quite accomplished." "My little project," I said quietly, meeting Connor's eyes. "My cute hobby stuff." His face had gone pale. "But you said, at Dad's birthday." "I said it was going well. You said I should leave real business to the men." James finished gathering signatures and stood. "Ms. Hayes, congratulations. The funds will be transferred to your account within 48 hours. Apple will be in touch about your start date." After he left, the kitchen remained silent. Mom sank into a chair, staring at me like she'd never seen me before. Connor stood frozen by the doorway. $12 million, Mom repeated. "Emma, why didn't you tell us?" "Would anyone have listened?" I asked. Or would Connor have explained why his real estate deals were more impressive than my tinkering? Connor's face flushed. "That's not." "I didn't." "Leave real business to the men," I quoted. "The big players would eat me alive. Remember, I was joking." "No, you weren't. You've never taken me seriously. None of you have. I've been building something revolutionary for 3 years, and you all treated it like a child's science project." Mom reached for my hand. "Honey, we're so proud." "Are you?" Because 3 days ago, everyone agreed I needed Connor to get me an internship, to do filing, in his office. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Connor, who'd been so proud of his $2 million development, was now faced with his little sister's $12 million success. "What does this technology even do?" he asked weakly. "It allows blind people to feel digital interfaces through haptic feedback. It lets surgeons perform remote operations with full tactile sensation. It revolutionizes gaming, education, communication." I shrugged. But sure, cute hobby stuff. My phone rang. Dad calling. I let it go to voicemail. You should have told us, Connor said, sinking into a chair. We could have helped. I have connections. I didn't need your connections. I needed your respect. The phone rang again. This time I answered. You should have told us, Connor said, sinking into a chair. We could have helped. I have connections. I didn't need your connections. I needed your respect. The phone rang again. I answered. Emma. Dad's voice was frantic. Connor just told me. Is it true? Apple? Yes, Dad. But how? When? Why didn't you say anything? I tried, remember? At your birthday dinner, but everyone was too busy laughing about my garage tinkering to listen. Silence. Then, we need to celebrate. Dinner tonight, my tree, the whole family. I have plans, I said flatly. Maybe another time. I hung up. Mom and Connor were still stunned. I need to pack. The movers come tomorrow. Movers? Mom asked. I'm relocating to Cupertino. Apple wants me there next week. I spent the day boxing 3 years of work, alone. Each part labeled, wrapped, archived. Connor hovered, watching more than helping. His questions met with silence or clipped answers. That evening, as I loaded the last box into my car, he stopped me. Emma, I'm sorry. I was an ass. I know. You were always quiet about it, working alone in the garage. I thought. You didn't think, you judged. He looked down. What you've built, it's incredible. Spare me the late compliments. You called it cute hobby stuff, remember? I do. His voice cracked, and I was wrong. I said nothing. The garage lights flickered off behind me, one last click of the switch. You're going to be running projects at Apple. You're everything I wanted to be. No, I'm what you never bothered to imagine I could be. We stood in silence. The driveway stretched between us like a closed book. I'm proud of you, he said. Good, you can keep that pride to yourself. I got into my car. Tell Mom and Dad not to call for a while. I need space. He nodded and I pulled away. I didn't look back. In 48 hours, $12 million would hit my account. In a week, I'd be in Cupertino. In a month, lives would begin changing. But tonight, I had something more important to do. I pulled up Richard's number. Hey, it's Emma. Everything went fine. I want to set up a foundation, with some of the money, for young women in STEM who are told they're not cut out for real work. That's incredible. What do you want to call it? I thought of Connor, the birthday dinner, the years no one listened. The cute hobby foundation, I said, for projects no one takes seriously until they change everything. Richard laughed. Perfect. I'll start the paperwork. I drove toward my real life, left behind a house full of people who didn't see me until it was profitable to do so. My phone buzzed, texts, missed calls, sudden interest. I turned it off. They'd had their chance. Now it was my turn. And I had real business to run.